Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. Tonight's nightcap actually didn't happen. What I normally do is I film what I'm going to film through the week. This week I did a welding repair and I do some machining on the Harrison lathe. Then on the Sunday I do the talky bit, which is this bit. But what's happened today is Deb had a last chemo on Monday. She's been great all week, and then this morning she woke up in severe discomfort. She had pains in her tummy and her back. Ended up taking her to the hospital, and they've basically kept her in. They're not quite sure what's causing it, but they can manage her pain in hospital. We can't manage it at home. They're going to do a CT scan on her tomorrow, so we'll know more then. So basically, it's a bit of a setback, but she is in the best place, and she wanted us to do this. She wanted us to tell people what's happening, because so many people have commented on her and they've talked to her, and she wanted people to know what's happening. She's back in hospital. Hopefully we'll find out tomorrow what's happening. I've made a start on a ball turner for the lathe using this boring head as the actual tool holder. What I've done, I had a tool holder for the lathe. It's meant to be a boring bar tool holder, but I never use them for a boring bar tool holder. What I did, I bored that out to the same taper as the R8, then I bushed that end, put a brass bush in there, and that's a nice fit in there. That'll go onto there. On centre height, I need to make a handle for this. Unfortunately, the video of boring the taper and making the bush, I lost the video. I've had a hard drive crash. I've lost quite a bit of video, unfortunately, because it was quite good setting the taper up on there. Anyway, it can't be helped. Basically, what I did, I put that in the chuck, and I put a clock gauge onto here, wound it back and forward on the compound slide until I got to the point where the clock gauge wasn't moving, which meant that the compound slide is cutting exactly that taper. I need to take the 4-jaw chuck off the lathe and put the 3-jaw chuck on. On the box for the lathe, the chuck's simply screwed on. This one's held on with a big locking ring. It's what they call an L00 type of fastening. We'll put our bed protector in, and you get a nice big spanner that goes onto there, and that lock ring loosens off. It's a gentle tap, break the taper away. It's quite heavy, this chuck, but it is manageable. That comes off there like that. You can see it's on a big taper, and it's got a key that locates there as well. It's important that this taper's really clean. The slightest bit of muck on there to put the chuck away from running through. Same with the 3-jaw chuck, that must be nice and clean. A small amount of oil, and a little bit on the threads. a very secure and a very accurate way of holding the chuck on. It means you can run the lathe backwards without any fears of the chuck unscrewing, which has never actually happened to me anyway. A bit of steel bar there, we'll use that to make the boss for the end, the bit the handle screws into. When you put something in a chuck like that, you can feel there'll be a position where it actually wants to fit, which is probably about there. Chuck is a really good fit. And that's running fairly true. The end's obviously not being cut straight, but the bar's running through. What we'll do, we'll face this, probably turn it around part of the length, then bore it out. Right, I'm going to part this off. I've got a parting tool here which is set in on centre height. It needs to be set square up in the job, which can be quite simply done by putting the face of the tool either against there or against the chuck, one or the other, just to make sure it's going in nice and straight. We'll do it on the chuck. Right, so that's lying square against the chuck, so the tool's got to be in 90 degrees to the job. Which you can see there, it is. So it's on centre height, square to the job. Want that parting off. Right, so we need to lock off the carriage. And when I put the DRO on, it said it was important to get to the carriage lock bolt. That's it there. It's a little bit of a fiddle, but it's not really a problem. What a lot of people do when they're parting off is they get frightened. As soon as the tool starts to dig in, they wind off, they back the load off. That's when the tool will dig in and jam. Ideally, you want to put more load on it. It's easy to say that on quite a sturdy lathe like this, but I've parted off stuff that size and bigger on the box fan lathe with this tool. Speed wise, it's probably 100 RPM, and I'll just be feeding it in by hand. I'm busy putting the cooling water on the lathe. I haven't got it on yet, so I'll just use a brush and just use a little bit of cutting oil. going to try running it a little bit faster. It's 155. It's actually better. So you've got to keep the load on. Putting quite a bit of weight on there today, it's putting quite nicely. Getting the other breaking off now. There's nothing wrong with finishing the last 1/8 of an inch off with a hacksaw, as long as you don't forget to put that in. The one time you forget it, if the time you slip through and you damage your layer's bed. That's quite reasonable. Good chuck this, it runs nice and true. I don't think it's done a great lot of work, while the whole machine hasn't done very much work. But we'll face the end off, then bore it out. Just take that edge off first, put a little chamfer on. It looks a lot better. It also stops the sharp edge from cutting your fingers. We'll slow things down a bit. Send that drill first. Horrible flapping noise. It's actually the main drive belts on the lathe that's slack and they're hitting the casing. The belts need replacing. So the cuttings are coming out even on both sides of the drill. That's because the drill's been shot with. It's a brand new crowbar drill, and so it's nice and sharp. The finished bore size in here is 24mm, so we'll go through the 22mm drill. I'll need a adapter sleeve. Use a sleeve to go from that's a number 2 Morse taper, number 3 Morse taper in the tail stock of the lathe. a gentle tap wrong with a hand hammer. Won't do any harm, it'll stop it from spinning. And we'll have to slow this down a bit from where it is. That's reasonable, that's run at 155. You see, I'm still learning with a lathe. This is where you really don't need flood cooling, makes a big difference. Well, I want a big hole through it, I'm taking a lot of material out there. This is a cast aluminium table of a planing machine or a woodworking saw. The lads asked us if I can weld these bits that have snapped off back on, try and build them up and reinforce them. I'll certainly have a go for them, but there's no guarantees. This sort of material, it's die cast material, it's proper crap. Some of it welds sometimes, some of it won't weld at all. You do it now until you strike up on it what it's going to be like. It's very, very light. So all we can do is put a bit of heat on with a TIG and see what happens. Well, it's shite, but it is weldable shite. See, I've managed to get a tack on it. What I'll do, I'll fill all this in, build it up solid and put a fillet inside of there, just to try and give it a bit of more strength. I'll get the camera in a bit closer so you can actually watch what's happening when I'm welding it. It's actually welded not too bad. The little black specks are the shite that's boiled out of the aluminium. That's normal on this type of this type of material, but it did weld quite nicely. I put some reinforcement up the inside as well. Anyway, thanks once again for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for clicking the like button, and as usual, thanks very much for all the well wishes and support you've sent in for Deb, my wife. Thank you.